I stare at Long's Peak every single day. I look at it as I drive to work, on my morning and evening walks around my house, and if I crane my neck just right out of my bedroom window, I can see it calling to me. When I see Longs, I have the desire to stop everything and go climb it. Unfortunately, this has been an insane summer for me, so I haven't been up to the summit of the King of the Front Range here. But it is the middle of October, and we are going to change that today. And to make it interesting, I'm going to be going up the Loft Route. The last time I did this, I went up the Keyhole, and I wanted to experience a different route up this amazing peak. To catch you up to speed, I started this morning in the Longs Peak Trailhead at 6 a.m. and I'm currently at the junction where you go up to Chasm Lake, which is also the Loft Route, or if you go the standard Keyhole route through the boulder field. And it's been a glorious morning. I've made a few moose friends. There's a low cloud cover, which made for a great sunrise, and we're gonna go see what this Loft Route is all about. The only thing that concerns me a little is I see a good amount of ice, and I chose not to bring my micro spikes. So I'm hoping those steep exposed ledges I need to cross over are not slippery and I fall to my death. But if I do, I did bring my helmet, so at least my head will be intact and my family will be able to recognize the body. But let's continue upward. Well, I'm for sure starting to gain some of that elevation now as I head up towards the Loft Couloir. So far, I like the direct nature of this route. I'm more of a direct go up the mountain kind of guy. This basin in between Meeker and Longs is incredible. Some great rock up here and just cruising up. I'm just heading up this ramp that leads out of the Loft Couloir to the saddle between Meeker and Longs here. And there is a little snow in it, but it's easily avoidable so far. I don't see any ice, so looks like I'm not gonna slip to my death, which is always a good start to any mountain adventure. One thing I'll note is the Loft is so much quieter than the last time I did the Keyhole. I only passed one other group, so very tranquil out here, continuing to be epic views. Amazing rock. I also really like so far, this is a little bit of a choose your own adventure style climb. You can kind of make it as spicy as you want. I've chosen to pick the spicier lines a couple times on purpose, a couple times not on purpose. But charging up here, so far loving the Loft and excited to get to the saddle between Meeker and Longs and just have a whole different perspective of this area than I've seen before. Feeling that altitude. I'm getting my first views of the Longs summit now, and what a glorious sight. I got some fall colors in the distance, just perfect day up here, and I'm feeling so good. I've decided I'm gonna head out Mount Meeker, which is only about half a mile away from here, and might as well bag 2 peaks while we're up here since it's so close. Let's go check out that Meeker summit and continue to Longs. Well, I've made it here to the summit of Mount Meeker. I think it's 13,800 feet or so. And this is actually the peak that I really look at most of my time at home, with Longs just cresting behind it. My first time up here, and it's getting grayer. The wind's supposed to pick up, so I'm gonna keep hustling upward. Well, Meeker is in the bag, and it's always hard to go up and down on a day where you're trying to hit another summit, but I think the views were well worth it. And I look at Meekers every day, so I had to get up there. It's also one of the 100 tallest summits in Colorado, so that's pretty cool. I have heard this section in between the saddle between Meekers and Longs and where you down climb is the hardest route finding. But so far there's been great cairns, like this one behind me that signifies I'm about to down climb a section before ascending all the way to the Long summit. Let's see how it is. I'm just getting to the base of the proper Longs Peak summit. This notch right here is why I believe you have to drop back down through where I down climbed versus staying on the proper ridge. But I'll be honest, I'm feeling the elevation right now. I haven't been up this high in a couple months and slowing down quite a bit, but as I understand it, I'm at this white band of rock right now, and I just followed this all the way up, enjoying with the standard route going up through the Keyhole, and I just go straight up the home stretch and should be on the summit of Longs Peak here soon. I'm gonna try to get a few calories in me, rest up for a couple of minutes, and continue upward. Well, I have joined the Keyhole route, only a couple hundred feet from getting back to the summit of Longs Peak for the second time. I've made it up here to the summit of Longs Peak, and the views are better than I remember. There's only 2 other people on the summit, and if you've ever been up here, it is a pancake of a summit, which is super unexpected from a lot of the angles that you see this peak from. It's starting to get a little windier, and it's supposed to get stormier as the day goes on, so I don't think I'm gonna be hanging out for more than 10 or 15 minutes, enjoying the views, having a summit snack, and then I'm gonna be heading back down the Keyhole route to make a nice little loop of everything. Another amazing day up here in the mountains, and thank you for joining me on this adventure. Well, Longs called and I answered. It was another incredible day up on the good old Long Boy. And the Loft Route going up and coming down the Keyhole was just amazing. First off, it's a loop, which is always better as you have different views and you get a little variety. Secondly, it was just a lot quieter of a route and just had that more wilderness feel that I love. Far fewer people up there. And lastly, it was just a little bit more direct way to get to the summit. I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day up here, especially for this time of the year. And it took me about 7 hours and 20 minutes today, which I believe is about the same as when I did Keyhole to Keyhole, maybe slightly longer today. But I would not count on even it being a little shorter distance, this taking less time, just due to more route finding and a little bit more scrambling and time off trail. The stats for today are just shy of 16 miles. And with adding Meeker, I think it's about 5,500 feet of climbing. Definitely a long day out here on longs, but wouldn't have it any other way. As always, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure, and I'll catch you on the next one.